You guys, if you own your own home or if you've ever owned your own home, you know that a lot goes into shopping for a house. There are a lot of things to look for and it can wear you out. So Paige is going to give us a little bit of help this morning. She's going to let you know what you should look for when you're shopping for fixer-uppers.
Well, Cherish, whether you're looking for a family home or an investment, you want to make sure you're going to get your money's worth. Now, Joe Stewart with Roberts Brothers gave us a tour of a property with a lot of potential and shows us some fixes to bring out the best in any home.
Splash a little color on it. If it's drab, even just painting the front door can make a big difference. And you can't judge a book by looking at the cover.
Well, let's take a look inside this one.
Okay. Original house was built back in the 20s, I believe. It was just a little fishing camp down here.
It does look like it could use some updates.
Absolutely.
What are some things that people looking at older homes should think about walking into a house like this?
A first impression may be to come in and say, oh gosh, it's so dark, you know. Well, paint can change a lot of things, you know. You brighten it up a lot just by painting.
And paint's cheap and easy.
Well, yeah,
Especially
if you do it yourself. Mm-hmm. And in this house, the kitchen is probably going to be the biggest single renovation to the house. It all needs to come out.
So this is where your money would probably go?
This is always where you're going to spend your most money.
Do you see a lot of people walking into homes and the kitchens really strike them? Is that a selling point for people? Is that worth putting the money into?
Oh yes, absolutely. This particular kitchen I would extend down. I would take this wall out, bring it out here a little bit to give you more cabinet space. Is
it a huge task to knock out a wall?
Not necessarily. Number one, you have to look, you have to know whether it's a load-bearing wall or not. If it is, you can still knock it out and open it up, but you're going to have to put a beam to support it in columns. This is an example. This is a 50s bath, and it's not real large. You know, people now want jacuzzi tubs and big, really nice tile showers and that sort of thing. So, but you have to be reasonable within the confines of what you have to work with. This was an original bedroom.
Let's go to the real selling point of this house.
That says it all. I mean, you say no more when you see this view of the river here. Landscaping is something that you can always do depending on your taste and what you're looking for.
When people are looking into properties that need some work, what should they look for? You know, to see if is it worth putting the work in? If I put this much money in, am I going to get it back out? Does it depend on the location, the structure? What kind of is a good purchase?
Location is going to have a lot to do with it. You don't want to overbuild the area.
Now, when you're talking about not overbuilding the area, he was talking about go around, check out some of the neighboring homes, what they've sold for, because I mean, if it's a waterfront property, you can really put anything you want there and it's going to sell. Sure. But in most neighborhoods, there's usually kind of a peak of what homes go for, and if you put a $2 million home in a $200,000 street, it's not quite the best investment.
Right. You're not going to get any of that money back at that point. If that's what you want, you still can do that, of course, but plan to live in that house for the rest of your life because you're never going to resell it for anything close to that. But really interesting when you talk about redoing homes, and you made some good points. The kitchen is a really good place to start if you want to redo a home and make it pop for people to come in and see.
You'll notice when you get flyers for open houses, one of the first things a lot of them say is updated kitchen, you know, new appliances, because it costs a lot of money to, get those, stainless steel refrigerators and all the new cool things that are coming out, and that's what people really want.
It does. And I have a huge tip, if I may, because I bought a house a few years ago. Mine was built in 1953, so it was one of those fixer-uppers. My main thing, as Paige mentioned, that location. So I got my location, hardwood floors. I knew I wanted hardwood floors, but there were some things that needed to be done. And as soon as I walked in, old appliances, original stove, 1953. So this is hideous. I want it out. I want this wall gone. I want this gone, this gone. Just make sure that you pace yourself, because when you get into that house, you have that mindset, you have all these ideas that you want gone, and the more people who walked into my house said, oh my gosh, I love your stove, it's gorgeous. I still have my stove from 1953.
I
It's
love that.
fantastic.
I love that.
We've made everything, we've modernized it and also have an old feel, so we've kind of made it fit. So, you know, before you go and sink all your money into it at one time, just do little things at one time, little things at a time, because that's how you really, really lose yourself in a house, and you don't want to end up foreclosing.
Well, especially if you're living in the house, you want to remodel a small piece at a time, so you actually have some living space.
Yeah, sure.
As
You might
well.
learn to love stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I love my stove, and I did not knock out that wall, and I do like that wall.
All right, so did you buy the house?
No, I wish. That view. Whew.
Yeah, it was pretty special. All right, coming up, a popular smartphone overseas is about to be sold in the U.S. Danny has that and more in your Daily Tech, in addition to cooking this morning.
And we're going to be telling you about